In the shadowy depths of the Amazon River, a tiny monster veiled in murky water searches for its sanguine feast. The Candiru fish is a creature that has both intrigued and instilled dread in those who venture into its domain. Like the cloudy water that it calls home, myths and legends conceal the truth behind this fish's hunting behaviors. But sometimes cultural whispers shroud nature in an aura of unease in life, death, and taxonomy. Welcome back to Life, Death, and Taxonomy. It's your 30 minutes of interesting animal information. I am Joe.
And I am Carlos.
Thank you to Cassie for the creation of our theme song. To hear more of Cassie's music, please search Cassie Michelle on YouTube or Spotify.
And thank you to Johanna for the creation of this week's artwork. To check that out, you can visit us at our home on the web at ldtaxonomy.com. And a very special thank you to our patrons, to Jesse Raspolich, Carol Raspolich, Richard Kaspar, Lottie, Aubrey, and Gray Hughes. Thank you so much for your support. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks for helping us keep the lights on.
Gray Hughes weighed in on our debate.
I saw that.
Did you see that?
Yeah, he's he has something to say about the zebra cakes versus cosmic brownies debate. But it seems that he's a zebra cake fan. He would be on that side of the Little Debbie spectrum.
He was like he did say that the cosmic brownie has merits.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how the taste test went. Said he was going to do a taste test, so
he says, okay, I think I've been sleeping on zebra cakes. Cosmic brownies are just more ubiquitous.
Oh, did I miss a follow up?
Yes.
Oh, I missed a follow-up on that. Okay. So he's definitely zebra cakes. It's too fluffy for me. I need something rich, and that's what the cosmic brownies deliver directly into my bloodstream. But after 2 holidays back-to-back, which happens every year, Christmas and New Year's, of just cookies and canned and so much chocolate, so many cookies, so much cake. I love it, but also I can't even imagine right now eating a Little Debbie anything. My blood sugars were way too high. Oh
man, yeah, like the holiday apocalypse of sugar has occurred.
Yeah, and also like everything is so up in the air that I'm also not working out at all. So it's just a concoction for me to spend 10 days packing on like 7 pounds. It feels like. So yeah, I maybe one day I will do a taste test of the both side by side, but for now I gotta go with cosmic brownies.
Okay, yes. Well, today we're talking about a vampire that glitters in the sunlight as if you could outswim it, but more on that later.
Is there some sort of swimming element to Twilight?
No, there's a swimming element to this animal.
Oh, okay. I don't know if it was.
It's the line is as if you could outrun me.
Is that what he says?
Yeah, it's like the part where he's like, everything about me is inviting. It invites you in. I'm the perfect predator, and it's like everything is about me is inviting, as if you could outrun me, as if you could fight me off. Like, meaning it's overkill. They're perfect predators. And
he says that to the girl? That's really creepy.
He's lamenting the monster he is. He's not like... He's not gloating. He's not like Dracula. He's saying, like, I'm a monster. Look at all these facts about me.
He's just looking at the girl he loves or is in love with and says, I am so much stronger and faster than you.
No, well, it's not like...
If I wanted to kill you, I could in a heartbeat.
It's in the early stages where he's still like, no, stay away from me. I'm a monster.
Uh, yeah, and she has Padme syndrome where there's just zero red flags.
Yeah. In fact,
Anyway,
the red flags are green flags.
she's red green colorblind and is just looking at a bunch of gray flags. Anyway, people don't want to hear us talk about Twilight, or anybody for that matter. We are talking about the Candiru. Candiru. Also known as the Cañero, the toothpick fish, or the vampire fish. But we're going to call it here Nelson Vandella, Mr. Peabody, and fish tick.
Yes.
Okay, I was hoping I didn't
once
have to
again,
explain that.
I have to issue a warning that this is going to get blue, but we are going to use the proper scientific terminology. We're not going to say potty words. And B, there's that warning. There's also the warning of like this could give you the heebie-jeebies. But again, the reality is a little. Well, you'll see. It's not.
The reality is that nature is not G-rated and never has been.
Fair enough. Yes, very true.
Let's taxonomize this boy.
Let's do that.
It's in the kingdom you know, love, and are in. And of course, that's Animalia. The phylum is Chordata. It's a fish. The class is Actinopterygii, so it's a bony fish. I'm just going to let that one just sit there. The order is Siluriformes, which is catfish. The family is let's try this one. Trichomicteridae. Yeah, Trichomicteridae, which is a pencil or parasitic catfish. So I think you know where we're going with this one. I'm not making another Ayn Rand joke. The genus is Vandella, and the species is Cirosa. Vandella cirosa is the binomial nomenclature, possibly one of the most melodic sounding binomial names we've done in a while. Just sounds like Andrea Bocelli, Vandella cirosa. It's just that's the
cellar door.
But since we're in the business of naming things, it's time for my favorite part of the show, nitty-gritty nomenclature, because it's fish, and fish form schools and shoals. But we've got Vandella cirosa. This is the part of the show where I ask you, Joe, a question, and that question is, what is the English translation for the binomial nomenclature, Vandella cirosa? What does that mean? Does that mean A, noble warrior with tentacles, B, mobile, scaly heart, C, river blood feast, or D, scarred fins with music?
I'm going to do the music one. Final answer.
Scarred fins with music?
Yeah.
That is incorrect. It is the one that I threw in there at the end because I figured that the real one would stand out like a sore thumb, because the real one is noble warrior with tentacles. It is Vandella.
Is non sequitur?
Is it non sequitur? Yeah, it doesn't make sense that it's tentacles. Maybe because it looks like it is a tentacle when it's doing its thing. But that is apparently what cirosa means. Which and so I actually put in scarred fins because cirrhosis is scarring. And it's spelled like cirrhosis, but no, it means tentacles. Or having tentacles is what it means. So it's an adjective. And Vandella is old German, van being warrior, like vanguard, and then Della being noble. So There's a bit of a linguistics etymology lesson. I always love those. And also, the genus is Vandella, which is why I called it Nelson Vandella. I could not think of a way to tie the man Nelson Vandella to this. There's very little that those two of God's creatures have in common. So I just had to do the pun on the name. That's it. I'm not saying that Nelson Mandela is a parasitic catfish, or was.
That's good.
Let's talk about what this guy looks like. He's South African. No, I'm just kidding. The Candiru catfish looks like a tiny silver minnow. In fact, it would be indistinguishable from a minnow if you saw it in the water. It has a thin, snake-like body, large eyes, transparent fins, a silvery stomach that swells like a tick's. Not quite as bad as a tick. We've been getting a lot of ticks on our dogs recently. There must be a nest in our backyard, and I've had to pull some engorged ticks off of the dogs, and it's nasty. I can't believe how big they can balloon up. It is, Anyway. The Candiru swells up like a tick when its stomach is full, which is why I called it a fish tick. And that kind of gives it this like sardine strap to its belly look. It just looks like this silver pouch. So if you're picturing a transparent minnow with a silver pouch on its belly, you are picturing the Candiru catfish. But it is very small. Like I said, looks like a minnow. It's not like your normal, like, meaty catfish. So how big is it, Joe?
Well, it's time for the beloved Measure Up segment, the official listener's favorite part of the show, the part of the show when we present the animal size and dimensions in relatable terms through a quiz that's fun for the whole family. It's also part of the show that's introduced by you and when you send an audio yourself saying, sing, or bubbling the words Measure Up into ldtaxonomy@gmail.com. We don't have a new Measure Up intro this week. You know what? I think the next time we should do this year another vote to give like some other segments a chance to be the listener's favorite part of the show. And I think we should do it exclusively on Patreon. But we have found out Gray Hughes was an early adopter of jumping in and hanging out in the free zone, which is totally fine. It's totally fun. And then when you feel like you'd like to throw in some cash and make it rain, that's also great. But you don't have to. So if you don't want to pay a dime, but you still want to hang out, check out the free option on Patreon. And then maybe later in the year, if we get enough people, we'll do a vote.
Yeah, right now we would be doing a vote for, not
5.
a ton of people.
8 people.
But yeah, if we get a bunch of people in there, we can, you can help us create the show you want to hear. Be the change you want to see in the show.
Yeah. And it would be good to be able to ask the Patreon people questions about what they like and what they don't like and what they want to change and what they don't want to change.
Yeah, because at the moment it's family members that are telling me what they like and don't like.
And a couple others. Oh, you mean
they're too nice though.
Like just coming up to I see.
They're like, "Oh, I love this, and my uncle will come up and be like, "You guys banter about video games for too long." It's like, all right.
Yeah, we got to save that for the warm up. All right.
Yep.
Since we don't have a new Measure Up intro, we get to hear from a fish.
Oh wow!
Without further ado.
Wait! I want to try and guess this, and if I guess this, nitty gritty nomenclature becomes instantly the listener's favorite part of the show.
No, I don't think so. But then I'll have to spend time finding a more obscure fish. Without further ado,
is it Nemo? I'm just gonna go ahead and
favorite part of the show.
Yes! Hey, I just got my license. Hey, I'm getting mine next.
Hey, I doubt it.
Okay.
That's clearly.
random fish from SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Just like a towns bikini bottom townsperson, townsfish.
It is random bikini bottom townsfish. That one sounds like it was played by Mr. Krabs.
Plankton.
Or Plankton.
Oh, it sounds like
Plankton.
Sounds like it was because Mr. Krabs is played by Clancy Brown. Yeah. So I thought if I was gonna pick random bikini bottom townsfish, quote, personally, I would go with the guy who loves chocolate. You seen that episode?
I think we've done that.
I don't think we have.
Or we might have done Where's My Drink?
Oh, maybe we've done that. It's just like the sardines or something. But yeah.
Okay, let's get into it. Let's talk about length. They're 17 centimeters or 7 inches. Is that right? I'll say it's all right.
That is
How
pretty
many
long.
Candiru go into the diameter of Uranus? Since we're blue, let's be a blue planet.
Oh. My heart.
It's actually like whitish blue, very light blue. Yeah, it's blue.
All right. I'm going to be a grown-up and just push on
Yes.
forward with the segment.
It's a shame because it is a striking planet. It is a good... like there's even like real pictures of it with its rings in the and it's a striking planet.
Well, all the other planets, they don't strike me at all. But this one,
No.
it strikes so hard.
Yeah, 17 centimeters, about 6-7 inches.
Yeah, it is a bump. Like I don't know what they were thinking when they named it. I like Futurama's version that they renamed it to a little better.
Uranus.
Yeah, there you go. At least name it something. I mean, I guess it's all named after Roman gods, so pick a different one.
Uranus. It could be Uranus. Why is it you? It's Uranus.
That's true. So what was the question again? When you said the name of the planet, all information in my brain turned to static.
How many Candiru go into the diameter of Uranus?
Got it. Okay. I like Uranus. That sounds like something that an entity that Doctor Strange would fight.
Yes.
It's Dormammu and Uranus. The diameter, goodness. If I remember my placemat when I was 8 years old well enough with all the planets on it and their size comparisons, which is what I usually go to when I think of the sizes of planets because it's what I looked at the most. It is definitely smaller than Saturn by quite a bit, but not too much. But bigger than Mars and Earth and Venus. Not that helps, because I don't know the diameter of any of those planets either. So relative size isn't really going to help me. I'm going to go with 100,000 miles.
Well, here's a hint. Uranus is the third largest planet in the solar system. It is a gas giant, but since it's primarily made up of ice, its new category is ice giant, along with Neptune. Ice giant like what Loki is.
Yeah. It should have named it whatever the ice giant king's name was. I forgot his name. Okay, so I'm still going with 100,000 miles. It's 528 million feet. Or 6.3 billion inches. Divided by 7 brings us to 905 million Candiru catfish going to the diameter of Uranus. The Egyptian god of sleep.
Final answer?
Yes.
The correct answer is 287 million.
Oh, what a wee planet.
Uranus is 51,000 kilometers or 31,000 miles in diameter.
Is that just the ice part or the gas part as well?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I think it's the whole thing. The whole
Okay.
planet, including the atmosphere? Yeah. I don't know. Like, because these gas giants are like, we don't even know if there's like a solid core in like something like.
They seem to know that there's a solid core made of ice.
We think there is. It makes sense.
I mean, it could just be rock. If you're just guessing. No matter how cold rock gets, it's just rock. Doesn't mean there's water. Or
31,000 miles in diameter, about 4 times the size of Earth. Yeah, makes sense.
no, so Earth's just like 8,000.
Yeah, your Earth is a little blue marble.
Yeah, a little pale blue dot.
Let's talk width. They're 3.5 millimeters or 0.13 inches in width. So how many Candiru widths go into the height of the morichi palm tree?
More reachy. I prefer less reachy.
Here's a hint.
Is that the
Morichi
super
palm-
tall one that's like lining the Beverly Hills or whatever?
Here's a hint. The morichi palm, or meriti, is a tree that grows around the Amazon River and in swamplands. It bears a scaled maroon fruit that is popular as an ingredient in alcoholic beverages. Since it's like a denizen of swamplands, I would imagine it can't... Although palm trees can get pretty tall with not very deep roots. Because they have like wide roots? I don't know. But I would imagine trees in swamplands can't get that tall and heavy because the soil is so soft.
Yeah, but the rainforest is all about competing for sunlight. They have to be tall.
But the rainforest rains doesn't necessarily mean it's all swamp.
True. Palm trees can get very tall.
You got to look up a picture of a morichi palm fruit. It's very interesting looking.
Okay. I'm going to go with 40 feet. Seems kind of standard for like a mid-sized tree. 3,700 Candiru fish widths going to the height of this palm tree. So if you put all their cheeks together and stacked them up, cheek to cheek, dancing cheek to cheek.
Final answer?
Yeah.
The correct answer is 10,294 Candiru widths.
Boy, that's like a 100-foot tree, huh?
114 or 35 meters.
That's a tall tree.
It is a tall tree.
That is like the ones that are those really tall ones that you see in every depiction of Hollywood ever.
Yeah. That might be the upper end of average, though. But that's all I got.
All right, I have
a much embattled time you've had. You have been much embattled this measure up time.
That's true. Yes, you went astronomical with it, which meant I had almost no chance.
Yeah.
Because there's just so many very, very, very large measurements. Can't keep them all in my head. I have very few fast facts because most of the information is centered around the major facts. So we will just leave it at where they live. They like to hang out in the Amazon River and the Orinoco River, which are two very large rivers in South America, in case you hadn't heard, and all of their tributaries. They most of their population is in the Amazon River Basin, which is a large section of the Amazon rainforest in the center of South America, which includes the countries of Brazil, Bolivia, Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru. Do you know the Orinoco River is 1,400 miles long? That's one of the longest rivers in the world, and I bet you nobody. I mean, I didn't know. I couldn't have named it before doing the research on this. It's just like, oh, there's the Mississippi, there's the Nile, the Yangtze, and the Amazon. Like, are there other rivers? Who cares? But it's like the Orinoco is like second longest.
Yeah, I would not have known that.
No, maybe third. I think it's, or maybe it might be first in terms of just sheer water volume, but it's up there. And I'm going to leave it at that because I think the major fact is major enough to carry its own.
Okay, yeah, and also you wouldn't know by looking at it that it is a catfish. It just doesn't even look like one.
It looks like a minnow.
Yeah. Okay, I'm calling this major fact swimming upstream.
Good choice of words.
Okay, get prepared for it to get weird.
Get excited because it's going to get weird.
Yeah. The Candiru is called a vampire fish because it is parasitic. In fact, you might be expecting it, but it is hematophagous.
I'm always expecting hematophagia.
Yeah. Never be surprised by hematophagia.
Never am.
Like Jonathan Harker was. Which means that they consume blood for sustenance, like a vampire bat. There's a book that I was looking at with this fish in it called, what do they call it? Dark Banquet.
What?
It's called Dark Banquet, Blood and the Curious Lives of Blood-Feeding Creatures. And it's all about like leeches and bats and stuff like that. But
Love
isn't
it.
that so like intense?
That is definitely a book I need on my mantle.
It would be a fun
Immediately.
book to put out for Halloween on your coffee table.
Yeah. Or just a bowl full of these guys.
Yeah. So they find a suitable host fish and swim into its gill chamber. Once the fish finds its way into the gill chamber, its backwards facing spines lock it in place. Then it will bite the fish's aorta artery and become engorged with blood within a few minutes. It can be full in almost 30 seconds, but sometimes it takes up to a little more than 2 minutes. So if you're fishing in the Amazon, these nasty little guys might be dropping out of your catches when you get them on the boat, and then the fish get blood all over your boat, and it's gross. But that is not the extent of the horror that this fish is known for, whether or not. All right, let's talk about something that's a little dubious. Okay, so the Candiru is also the subject of a horrifying rumor about attacks on humans. It is tiny. How bad could it be? Well, here we go. It has been presumed, but unconfirmed, that the fish is attracted to urea or some other chemical that is present in both fish gills and human urine. Because the fish is attracted to something that is also present in human urine, There are stories that they travel up human urethras. And I won't define that word. You will just have to know what it is. So cases of Candiru attacks on humans date back to 1826. Native people and foreigners working in Candiru territory mostly report second-hand accounts of the fish swimming up and lodging in both male and female orifices. But many of these accounts are speculative. As in a case where a doctor is examining patients that speak another language and assuming that they have been attacked by the Candiru based on what they're observing, even though the patients aren't even telling them that that's what happened. We're also in piranha territory in this part of the world. So some people say a lot of these attacks in these wounds might be from piranha. So, and which is also just bad luck because that's not very common either.
Getting bit in the bits by piranha.
A piranha, yeah.
Okay.
So
that's good to know.
A first-hand account was reported in 1891 by a naturalist that removed the fish not from a urethra but from a woman.
Women. Okay,
they have that, but it was not that. That's all I'm going to say. A larger canal, slightly larger canal. This was a first-hand account of him removing it. So the most famous modern case of a Candiru attack, attacking a human, comes from Dr. Anwar Samad, who published a 1997 paper, and he kept the cystoscopic, which is like a little microphone that goes up this particular orifice in the human body. He kept the footage from that removal, and he also has apparently preserved the fish in a jar. But in 1999, marine biologist Stephen Spott, S-P-O-O-T-T-E.
Spotte.
He investigated the claims for his book, which is called Candiru, Life and Legend of the Blood-Sucking Catfish. And he found some inconsistencies. He didn't definitively say this is fake, but he said he found some inconsistencies. So Samad said that he removed the fish, by snipping off the fish's spines and pulling it out. The video also shows the fish being pulled out backwards, which, if the spines are intact, these backward-facing spines, it would be impossible to pull it out backwards. But the specimen that Samad has in a jar has its spines intact. So how could that have happened? And then many of the claims, including this one, say that the fish didn't just the person wasn't just in the water. They were like knee deep or thigh deep in the water. And the fish jumps out of the water and swims up the urine stream to enter the opening. This is a popular legend. But that's straight up impossible from a physics perspective. It's not like a full waterfall. It's not like salmon jumping up up a level.
The fluid dynamics do not allow for this.
Right. But also experiments reported in 2001 found that the fish doesn't even really react to smell while hunting at all. Instead, it appears to hunt by sight. It'll just find a fish, look at it, and try to get into its gill compartment. Finally, on an episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, wildlife biologist Forrest Galante said that the spines make it so that the only way to remove it is to surgically cut open the human host, which I straight up could not find reported anywhere. I could not find one instance of somebody writing a paper or something about like this happened and we had to do surgery to get him out.
I think it's
cutting
conjecture.
But there are accounts of removal which include flipping the fish around to pull it out front ways, and or what Samad said he did, which was snip the spines off and then pull it out.
I'm hating this so much.
Well, don't worry. If you watched the Joe Rogan Experience and heard that and were horrified by the fact that he used the word butterfly, it's not real. It has not happened as far as I can tell.
Just the amount of working space you need to do something like, oh, there's a fish in there. I need to get another tool in there and snip the spines off and move things around and maybe turn the whole fish. There's too much space that has been created for this. No, for you to ever live a normal life again.
That's another problem with these claims, is that the average size of these fish is just straight up too large for this to happen.
7 inches. Yeah, that's
7 inches. But what did we say in width? 3.5 millimeters.
0.13 inches.
We're talking about a very small opening. I don't think.
Yeah, but we passed kidney stones, so.
True. Fair enough. So Spot concluded his investigation by saying, the chance that you might encounter such an experience with this fish when you're swimming in the Amazon are, quote, about the same as being struck by lightning while simultaneously being eaten by a shark.
Hitting a bullet with another bullet while riding a horse blindfolded, as Scotty would say.
I was poking around like forums and stuff, and people being like, I went to the Amazon and hung out with some locals, and they straight up laughed at me when I like mentioned this. Like, this is not a thing. We pee in the Amazon River all the time. Yeah. So like this,
but like, why would you go in the river? Like, that's where you're currently standing. That's where you're fishing and swimming and people downstream. Like, if you're near the bank, just water a tree. Like, go back up on land and go there. I don't understand why people are wading into the water in order to go to the bathroom.
I mean, people do that at the beach all the time.
I know, but that's because they are in a situation where it is like they're not urinating into the water. They are already in it and just letting loose. Like the Dimitri Martin joke. There's a big difference between peeing in a pool and peeing into a pool.
Yeah, that is funny, because some of these accounts are people peeing into the river.
Yeah, they're in knee high or thigh high water. It's like, you need to be in waist high water. And then it's just like, okay, nobody knows. But if you're in a situation where it's like you're with your bros, just water a tree. Don't even take this chance that maybe not this fish, but something could make its way.
When I started doing the research for this, I was thinking, like, did we do this already? Because I remember this myth, but remember we talked about the pacu fish.
Yeah, I remember
in the Amazon River fish. That also is a similar, not swimming up but biting. And the rumor in that case too is they're attracted to urea. You shouldn't pee in the Amazon because they'll come to you. But it's just not. It's not real.
But the pacu fish has like people molars for teeth.
Yeah.
That's the weird part. Yeah, I knew about this myth, and when I mentioned it to Bibby, she was like, "Oh yeah, that fish." So it's a pretty well known one. I think.
I mean,
because it's just like it's just so disturbing.
Yeah.
That like
and it's not like one of those things where it's like one story on Reddit started this whole thing. Like there are like accounts dating back to the early 1800s that this has been happening, but they're all very dubious claims. And it's not as if like I think these people might have had something happen to them, because the Amazon River is not a place where there are no dangerous critters. There's definitely some dangerous critters there. So lots of stuff could be like wounding people.
yes. I made the mistake of looking up the largest kidney stone. 5 inches.
Well, was it surgically removed?
Yeah, I'm trying to find one that was passed because there's no way he passed that. Let's see what
Unless it was a woman. Just gave birth.
No, it
to
was a
kidney
guy,
stone.
and it was surgically removed. I'm seeing reports of like
That's like bigger than your kidney.
a 9mm stone, so it's a Glock.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing. No, that's not. See, these people. There's a difference between one that's cut out from you and one that you pass. But
Oh, it
I mean, I'm
is
seeing
bigger.
9mm.
It's about the maximum size of a kidney. Although kidneys are very like stretchy and can expand.
Yeah, everyone is talking about just
All
this
right.
this massive disgust. And there's so many pictures of it. It's so nasty. Yeah, but I mean, I don't necessarily think it's impossible for something the width of that's 0.13 inches wide
Like a
to
womp
to fit, but to like
burrow.
slip in by accident.
Burrow in air. Because a
Like-
lot of these stories is they're not in the water.
Like that.
Where are
yeah,
they
this
getting
is.
the leverage?
Oh, I mean, I'm imagining like swimming up the stream is whole, made up from whole cloth. That can't happen. But like being submerged or having your lower part submerged and then having this fish swim in that way, I can see that happening. And they don't have a clue. Man, yeah, this is. I mean, I was feeling a little queasy when you were just talking about how it normally eats.
Wow.
But
yeah.
yeah, this is so much worse.
They're also not like sci-fi burrowing monsters. They can't really chew through. That was one of the things that the researcher that was like vetting this claim mentioned was like, the claim was that like once it got in, it was like chewing its way through linings and layers of skin, which it just doesn't do. It can't
it's
do
just
that.
stuck. If it's there, it's stuck.
Yeah. It's
and doesn't wanna be
designed
there.
to latch on and drink blood. And in fact, it doesn't really even like slurp up the blood like a straw, because it uses the fish's own blood pressure to pump the. It's very passive.
Yep, love
so
it.
I don't think
Love it.
it can do some of these things that they're claiming.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree.
We can be done. That's all I got.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So much of the animal kingdom has to do with blood and mating. Two things we have to dance around a bunch. So, but yeah. Let's
I
move on
think
to
our next few are don't have to do with blood, so I think you're good.
let's go into greener pastures. Yeah, okay. So, you got anything else?
That's all I got.
All right. That was the Candiru. For you out there in Podcastia, take a swim down the river, find a nice set of gills to settle down in, and you know what? Stay away from people's bits, like the Candiru does, apparently, here in life, death, and taxonomy.
Hey Taxonomy Titans, I just want to remind you that we now have a Patreon. Patrons can see full video episodes and get shoutouts on the show. But ultimately, it's a way for you to help us cover some costs and get even better. Still, reviews are the best way to help us grow. So if you haven't left one yet, we'd really love to hear from you. As always, thanks for listening and engaging.
My favorite in the world podcast.
Just don't listen to that guy on Joe Rogan. Sensational.
Joe Rogan?
No, the other guy.
Oh.